The endgame gear OP1 was a mouse that took the gaming peripheral enthusiasts by storm. Despite it being wired, it was actually one of the few gaming mice that offer an 8K polling rate with almost no latency, and many gamers were quick to overlook the cable. However, what if I told you that there was a gaming mouse that existed way before the OP1 with almost identical specs for only $50? Well, this is the Razer Deathadder V3 wired. The price of this mouse when released was $99, which at the time was a little bit ridiculous for a gaming mouse. But recently during the Amazon Prime Day deals, I saw that this mouse was only $55, and I thought to myself, wow, $55 for 8K polling and the mouse weighs less than 60 grams, well, sign me up. And it stayed at that price for the past 2 weeks, and honestly, I don't see that price going down anytime soon. Now, the unboxing experience is a little bit lackluster since it is a budget mouse. Well, I sort of kind of grew accustomed to the premium unboxings from smaller companies. Inside was some documentations, a few stickies, and the actual mouse itself. One thing I noticed out of the box was how horrific the lightweight cable was, and we'll talk about how it became a little bit of an issue in a sec. I never owned a Deathadder gaming mouse before, so these huge side buttons were a little bit of a surprise. The clicks and the matte coating was top notch as typical from your Razer gaming mouse. This is an ergo shaped mouse and it fits extremely well on my hand. This is perfect for the palm and claw and hybrid users. I would not necessarily see this comfortable for fingertip users, but the weight of the clicks from the front end of the mouse all the way to the back end of the mouse took about the same amount of force to actuate, which is very, very good if you're curious. The feet were okay, fairly standard, so I actually opted to change these out for some dotscapes I found at X-Ray Pad. Let's talk about the specs. The mouse is weighing in at around 58 grams and it's equipped with a Focus Pro 30K optical sensor. The switches themselves are the Gen 3 optical mouse switches and are rated for 90 million clicks. The scroll wheel is the same as the last generation, and it's been the same for the last couple, like 5-6 years now. I was hoping with the V3 versions we were getting newer scroll wheels, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. Gameplay of this mouse felt great and the tracking was a blast with the new dots case I had installed. One thing I've noticed when using the new switches were how stiff they initially were, but after a couple of days of playing with this mouse they definitely felt a lot looser, similarly how the Gen 2 optical switches felt. I'm not necessarily sure why that was the case, maybe I just got used to the switches, but I had a lot more fun towards the end of the testing phase. Compared to the other gaming mice in the market, you're looking at one of the best mice when it comes to latency performance, which is to be expected because, well, it is a wired mouse after all. However, it's still not enough to top the OP1, which had an average delay of 0.6 milliseconds, which is almost a 2 millisecond delay difference between the two mice, which is honestly very substantial on paper, but I'm pretty sure your average esports gamer wouldn't necessarily tell the difference. But one thing that even your average gamer can point out is how horrendous this cabling and this wire is from this gaming mouse. This is Razer's SpeedFlex cable, which is the same as their charging cable in their wireless mice, and man, this thing has some hefty weight to it. It's definitely a very high quality cable, which I'm not complaining about, but when in high intensity situations, when gaming, when you're flicking your mouse, I can definitely feel the wire weigh me down just a bit. I purchased a wire bungee to make sure that this wouldn't happen, but it did not resolve anything at all. My old G-Wolves Hottie HTM Classic, which almost came out 5 years ago, had a much better and lighter cable than the one that came with the Razer. You can get the OP1 8K for $85, and honestly, I wouldn't necessarily look twice at other mice because this is the best gaming mouse in the market right now. But for people who can't necessarily afford the $80 price tag, you should definitely consider the Deathadder V3 wired. you're essentially getting all the specs and features that comes with the OP1 8K for only $30 cheaper, which is probably the best $50 mouse in the market. Personally, after using it for a couple of weeks now, I've enjoyed my time with it, and I've hit some crazy shots with it along the way. The coding was up to par, and I had no creaking or quality issues with my unit. Despite the ergo shape, which I know may be a turnoff for some people, which honestly I understand, but for some apparent reason, I can't really come to terms as to why this mouse isn't popular in the budget community. But I also seem to forget that a lot of smaller companies are taking the spotlight on the budget peripheral side that offer almost the exact same features as the more reputable brands at only $30 to about $60, making the budget peripheral game much more competitive than it's ever been. I just wish that this mouse got a little bit of the spotlight, but honestly, for it being released at $99, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I can understand why people never really turn to this mouse. But for $55 and what you're getting, this is an unbelievable value, and I feel like a lot of people should turn their heads, and well, the budget market should definitely look into it. This is the review of the Razer Deathadder V3 wired. Very good mouse overall, definitely one I would recommend. If you guys have any questions, hey, let me know down in the comment section below, and let me know what your thoughts are on this mouse. Also, we're close to 1,000 subscribers, which is the only thing that's left to be monetized. So please, if you guys could just do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button. It will definitely mean the world to me. We have about 2 months in order to hit the we already hit the 4K watch hours, but 2 months to hit the 1K. So, you know, one of my videos, whatever. Anyways, just hit that subscribe button. It will definitely mean the world to me. And as always, thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.